Hello, friends. How are you doing today? Really, how are ya? My name is Kirsty, and this is it expired? Let us start with my disclaimer. As always, please don't use expired makeup. I know what the potential consequences could be. I know what could happen. I am taking that risk for myself. I don't recommend others do what I'm doing. But I have been hoarding, collecting for about 13, 14 years, and I still have some of this stuff. I do. And it's just growing old in my collection, in the back of the drawers that go to Narnia, I swear. So I have used a random number generator. I pick 5 items and I try them for the week. I test things like, does it smell right? Is the consistency the same? Is the texture the same? And then I do a patch test and I check and see if the performance is the same. If everything looks good, I go ahead and use it for the week. If not, it gets decluttered. So let's see what I pulled last week. I did get ready a few times, and by a few I mean every single day. My parents were in town, but it was generally like, hey, we're almost at your place, and so I had to get ready within like 5-10 minutes, so I didn't get a lot of pictures. I did get one, but I did get a lot of use on these products. So let's see what I had, and then we'll just move right along to this week. Okie doke, let's start here with the BH Cosmetics BH Liquid Foundation, Naturally Flawless, in 207 Rosy Beige. Now this is down to about here, so we are getting pretty close to the halfway point on this, which is good. It is about 5 years old, and I like it. I just find that it's a little bit matte for my liking. So I didn't mind using it, but I did find that I had to either mix it with a highlight or a more glowy foundation to get the finish I wanted, because I just can't do super matte foundation. It's not for me, and that's totally fine, but I have found another way to use this, and eventually it is something I will definitely use up. Next, I have the NYX Liquid Suede Cream Lipstick in the shade Respect the Pink. So this is your Bobby pink. This is very, very bright. I didn't do a lot of it on my lips. I would kind of do it in the center just to get a little definition, but honestly, I used it more as a base on my eyes to really get my shadows to pop. Regardless, I got some use on this. Again, probably 5 or 6 years old, something like that. I honestly, maybe 4 years old. I need to put like corresponding color stickers on my products as to when I pick these things up, because I cannot remember. But it is definitely older. However, it was fine. It was fine on my eyes, it was fine on my lips, and it's something that I do want to use in the future, just maybe in those different ways, using it as a cream blush, using it as an eye base, and using it just as a pop of brightness in the center of my lip instead of all over, because the bright Barbie pink isn't necessarily for me as an all over thing, but I do like the shade and I like it. I like to use it in different ways. So let's move on. This is my About Face Cheek Freak Blush Balm in the shade Raunchy. And I actually got a fair bit of use on this. The whole dome is gone. So I really, really love this as a cream blush. Love the shade, and had a lot of fun with this, got a lot of use on it, and it's only about a year and a half old, so it's just going right back in my collection. No issues with this one. Next, I have my Shot Miss A Halo Glow highlight in the shade Allure. This is almost like a matte highlight, which is really interesting. It just picks up the light really beautifully. I did get a fair bit of use on this. Like I said, I did get ready, I think 5 or 6 times actually, a lot. So this got a ton of use, and it's, I don't know, 3 years old maybe. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not my favorite highlight in the world, but it is definitely something that I can continue to get use on and maybe one day use up organically, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Last year I have my Morphe and Coca-Cola Cherry Coke palette. Now I did actually get just an absolute ton of use on this, even though it was very much like get ready and go. I tried to at least dip into 2 or 3 shades every day, and I tried to utilize all the colors in here. So I definitely did like a really bright look with the red, and then just popped a little bit of shimmer in the center, and I just did some neutral looks with more of the brown shades and the creamier highlights. So I really did use every shade in this palette. I had a lot of fun, and I didn't know a lot of people didn't like this. I think for a mauvey neutral palette, it's beautiful. The mattes blend lovely. The shimmers are, they're really nice. They're not like an indie palette blinding shimmer or a duochrome or anything, but they are a nice, just easy peasy, basic shimmer that's going to give you a little bit of pop, and I like this palette. I really do. I just don't think I necessarily needed it because I have these shades. I for sure have these shades, but if you don't, it's a really nice palette. I do like it, but it's going back home. It is 2 or 3 years old. Not terribly old either, but I'm excited to keep using it. I had a lot of fun with this. And that's everything from last week, so let's just hop right along to this week and see what I've got going on here. Alright, let's start with this here. This is the I Heart Revolution Chocolate Lip Mask, and now obviously I have a million of these, but I am using them up. I have completely used up one of my Simpsons collection ones from Revolution. I'm still working on the second, and then this just came in. This was sealed when I brought it into the project, so it's brand spanking new. I've used it a couple times today and last night, but new. The formula on this is completely different from the Simpsons ones. Those were almost a little more jelly, and I found I had to warm them up in my fingers first before they'd kind of blend into my lips. This, I can't even stick my finger in because it just melts right in. I way prefer the formulation of this. It is melty and it just sinks right into your lips immediately. It smells divine. And I'm excited to use this. This is something that I could probably use up in like a month because I love how it goes on. There's no fighting. It just melts right in and it feels so nourishing. So this is about, a year old, but like I said, I had just opened it. So even though it's been kind of sitting around for maybe 8 months, it's actually a brand new to be opened. So I'm not too worried about this. What does it say here? Do you have an expiry? It says don't eat. That's fair. It's probably like 12 months after opening, but I just opened it. So it'll definitely be gone within 12 months, and I'm okay with that. This is my Amuse Cosmetics Blush Trio. I think this had a shade originally. Like, it says M2. Maybe that's what it is. I don't remember. This was off Shop Miss A. This was from my very, very first Shop Miss A order, so probably like 3 or 4 years ago. And I don't even know if they carry Amuse on there anymore. There might be like a couple things, but I don't think they carry most of the stuff. I had got a lot of different brands that they carry at that time. Tried them all out, realized that all of like the foundations from other brands weren't really that great. Those all ended up getting decluttered. But I didn't mind the blushes and the bronzers and stuff that I got. So these are really pretty. I like the pink and the coral shade the most. Those are definitely what I use the most. This is definitely a gold highlight, and it's just a little bit dark for my skin tone, so I kind of just mix it in with the other two and make my blush a little glowy. But I do really like this. So I am looking forward to using it. It was $1, you know. It's not the best thing in the world, but they are still quite powdery in the way that's silky smooth. The colors are nice. So it is something that I am happy to use. I don't want to just chuck it for the sake of chucking it. It's fine. It's not the best, but it's absolutely not the worst. The colors are beautiful. The formulations are, 6.5, 7 out of 10. And it is what it is. It ended up in my collection. What I have learned from Shop Miss A is to kind of stay towards their home brand, the AOA Studio. It's a way better quality than the Amuse, and there was another one that I cannot remember what it was. I know they have like LA Colors, and that is hit and miss. But there was another brand that I picked up a few things, and for the life of me, right this second, I can't remember. And I might have decluttered everything from that one. So if you're going to go on Shop Miss A, I definitely say stick to the AOA stuff. The other stuff is like, it's okay, but it's not great. But I will use this. I don't know. It's one of those things, like, if I had a kid, I think I would give it to them because it was cheap. It's okay, but it's also better than like Claire's makeup or something, you know? Like, it's still better quality than actual kids' makeup, but I don't know. I'm gonna use it for the week. We'll see how I feel. If I'm not feeling a little bit better about it by the end of the week. Maybe I will declutter it, but I actually do like how it looks. So I'm really torn on this one, but we'll see what happens. Okay, moving on. This is the Tarte of the Sea Powerflex. I don't even think they have this line anymore, the Tarte of the Sea, Tartlet of whatever it was. This is in the shade 14N Fairlight Neutral. This is just a little guy because, I don't know, I think it was on sale. And I wanted to try some of it. I've heard it's super hydrating, and I always get super dry under my eyes. Like, I don't know. It doesn't matter what I do. I'm so dry under my eyes. So I did want to try this, and now it is probably about half empty. One of those things that it's not going to take me terribly long to get through. I have been using it here and there since I've had it, and I have had it for probably 2 years. I was so focused. I had this Coastal Scents concealer palette that I finished all of the light shades and a lot of the not quite so dark ones, and I had such a hyper focus on that palette for like a year and a half until I finished it that I neglected most of my other concealers. But now suddenly, because I did essentially use up what I could in that palette, I am flying through concealer. I've already finished a whole one. This one's already halfway done, so it'll be done by the end of the year. So it's kind of nice that I'm getting all this progress on these concealers now because they got neglected for far too long. But let's move on. Then, this is my, probably Kat Von D. It's that old. Kat Von D liquid lipstick in the shade Outlaw, so it is just a bright red. And don't get me wrong, love these. Love the shade. Love the formulation. Love how it feels. It's just old. This is probably 8 years old. However, I love it. It feels great. It has been on my lips for a little while now, and it doesn't feel like it's drying. I don't feel like my lips are flaking off, and it's not all over my teeth, so that is an extra bonus. I do actually have it as a bit of a cream blush as well. Had to go very light-handed with that because this is incredibly pigmented, but it's nice to have multi-use. So yes, it's old, but as of right now, it seems to be fine. It still has that, I think it's vanilla smell that they always did. I'm the worst with scents in like cosmetics. I can't tell you what it smells like. I could just tell you if the smell has changed or not, and this one hasn't. So I might as well get some use on it because eventually, yes, it will go bad, and I don't know if I've ever or will ever completely use up a red lipstick. That is a lot of work. So let's just use it for the week. Let's see what happens and see what I can do here. And then last year I have my Morphe Cosmetics and Jaclyn Hill collaboration. This is the Bling Boss palette. So I do have, I think, 3 of these, and this is the purple-based one. I think this used to be my favorite, and then I kind of stepped away from it. So it has actually had quite a bit of use because I used to really, really like it, but I don't generally reach for these shades anymore. And then having it after that Coca-Cola palette, a lot of the shades are very similar. Like this purple is a little bit different, and then this black purple sparkle one, which I used for my eyeliner today, is a little bit different. Everything else is pretty much the same in that palette, so I feel like I'm getting a little repetitive these 2 weeks, and I'm gonna have to bring in some companion water-activated liners, other palettes, that kind of thing, to spruce this up a little bit this week, because I didn't do that last week, just due to the fact that, like I said, my parents were here, we were out every single day doing stuff, and I am not that social of a person, so my social battery is totally drained. I am really looking forward to just staying home the next few days, and I work from home, so that's totally fine, and I'm just not gonna leave the house for like 4 days. It's my plan, but I still probably will get ready because I do that for me. It makes me feel better, just makes me feel like I've got my life a little bit together, you know what I'm saying? So I probably still will do that. I like this palette. I think I'm just kind of bored by these colors right now, but we'll make it work. We'll make it happen. Someone's trying to come in for a visit. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up because I can hear Flynn trying to get in. So I will just end things here. Oh, there he goes. There's the door. He's trying. Have yourselves a wonderful day, evening, weekend journey. Oh, there he is. Ah, there's my boy. I will see you next week.